Life Unrehearsed, brought to you by Lianas Senior Transition Support, helping you navigate home care and senior residences.
And good afternoon. Welcome to Life Unrehearsed. I'm Matt Delvecchio, specializing in elder care planning, downsizing in the senior living industry. Thanks for tuning in. Coming up on the first half of the show, Marie-Hélène Laramée is a two-time cancer survivor, an engineer by trade, and then dedicated herself to contributing actively to a strong and supportive Montreal. She was recently named the president and CEO of the MUHC Foundation. Marie-Hélène is in studio with me, and we're going to hear her story. And on the second half of the show, the importance of keeping our legal papers in order as we age. I think you'll be shocked at the number of Canadians that either do not have a will or have not updated it in the last 5 years. We're going to be discussing some essential family conversations, including the importance of wills, powers of attorney, protection mandates, and what we should all be doing to protect ourselves and our loved ones. That's going to be coming up after the 4:30 news. I hope you're enjoying this Thanksgiving weekend. It started out at quite a soggy weekend, but you know the weather's trying to fight back here, and it's not looking as bad as they predicted. So hopefully you're spending some time with family and enjoying this Thanksgiving weekend. In fact, talk about family. I want to do a big shout out to my dad. He's turning 81 tomorrow, as a matter of fact, and I'm going to try to squeeze out a quick golf game with him if the weather holds out. But I am certainly one lucky son and very thankful. And of course, that's what this weekend is all about. All right. You know, I had Marie-Hélène Laramée as a guest on Life Unrehearsed back on October 6, 2019. That's almost 4 years to the day. At the time, she was Director of Major Donors and Planned Gifts at Centraide of Greater Montreal. She went up the ranks at Centraide, and then I read a press release late in the summer announcing that Marie-Hélène Laramée was going to be the next president and CEO of the MUHC Foundation, effective October 2nd. That's right, just 5-6 days ago. Well, I'm very pleased to have Marie-Hélène Laramée here with me. Marie-Hélène, welcome to Life Unrehearsed.
Thank you so much, Matt, for having me again.
Again is right. Well, so glad to have you here. And congratulations for being your nomination as president and CEO of the MUHC Foundation. You must be very excited.
Yes, I am. And thank you for having me on Thanksgiving. It's actually a nice opportunity for me to reflect on how thankful I am.
Well, you know, your story is really something else. And for our listeners that don't know about yourself, let's go back a little bit and maybe starting with family and children. And what about Marie-Hélène's family?
So I'm a mom of 4, 2 kids and 2 stepkids. And I studied mechanical engineering, actually, at a time where there were very few women in mechanical engineering at McGill. And then I went on to work as a mechanical engineer at a company called CAE here in Montreal, where I was coding pneumatic systems for aircrafts and helping pilots train to keep the skies safe. And then when I was 33, I was unfortunately diagnosed with cancer.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about that. But first, the mechanical engineering. I have to, when I read about that, I put a little smile on my face. My son, Anthony, just graduated from McGill at mechanical engineering in May. Yeah, and just started with an engineering firm. And so I'm just interested in talk about STEM and female and engineering. And this is going back quite a while ago. So what was the interest in mechanical engineering at the time?
It's funny because my dad used to say, oh, now you can, fix things around the house. And that was really never my interest. I was more interested in things that move and flow dynamics and heat transfer. And so I think I was more in the in that kind of field and studying flow. I always loved physics. I was a math kid and really loved physics when I was in CEGEP. I went to CEGEP here in Dawson. And I just wanted to do more of that, electricity, magnetism, like all that stuff was really interesting to me.
Well, good for you. And then there you are, building a career with CAE. And
Yeah.
then in your early 30s, you get a cancer diagnosis. Just must have been hit you between the eyes. And I cannot imagine being young with young children at the time. So what kind of cancer was it?
I was, diagnosed with melanoma, which is skin cancer with vascular invasion. So at the time, it was caught a little bit late, and it had gone into my bloodstream, and so there was quite a worry that it would have settled onto an organ. And the thing with melanoma is that it doesn't grow like a tumor as we know it, but it spreads like it would on the skin, and so it's very hard to detect when it spreads. And so I think when you're 30, you have you really don't even think of that. It's not something that comes to mind. So it was a really big shock. I did not expect that at all in any way, and I don't think I was equipped emotionally or network-wise to face something like that.
Listening to Life Unrehearsed, Matt Del Vecchio here, and I'm talking to Marie-Hélène Laramée, two-time cancer survivor and new president and CEO of the MUHC Foundation. I mentioned two-time.
Yeah.
So you have melanoma, and then you weren't done, were you?
No, I was not. So about a year later, as they were doing scans to see if they found metastases anywhere in my body, they actually found a second primary cancer. I had thyroid cancer, also called papillary carcinoma, and so I had to go through a whole other year of treatment, excision, and more challenges.
Like you said, in your early 30s, life has just thrown you for a curveball. Life indeed unrehearsed for you, two-time cancer. And I would imagine, though, you had a time of reflection, and you ultimately ended up making a career change from the engineering field into philanthropy. So tell me about your thought process and where you ended up going.
Yeah, so when I went back to work in engineering, as passionate as I was about it, I was missing sort of the human component. I really wanted to spend more time with people around me. I think the idea was if I have limited time here, I want every day to count. And so I started raising money for cancer research I laugh because I sometimes say I do it selfishly. The idea was if I support cancer research, then maybe if it comes back next time, there will be a better cure and more treatments and more things available for me, but for everybody else also. And so I started raising a lot of money for cancer research and caught the attention of a hospital foundation who said, wait a minute, who are you and how are you raising all this money? And they offered me a job to actually come and work full-time in a hospital at a foundation to raise money for cancer research, which I did at the time.
Amazing. So switching gears completely, you could tell, just I'm looking at you here in studio, and you have that passion and compassion, obviously found your love and your passion. So that started the trajectory on a new career, started with the hospital foundation and worked your way over to Centrade. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. And I think there was a point where I wanted to maybe disconnect a little bit from my story. I needed to feel normal and in power, in charge of my life, and I wanted to help more and more and more people. And when the opportunity came for me to go over to Centrade, it was also a chance for me to learn more about the Montreal community, really go deep into the different neighborhoods and find out what kind of lives people, what kind of challenges people were having in the different areas of Montreal. And also work on my leadership skills because I was in charge of a large team at Centrade, and to be able to help train new professionals in philanthropy, I think that's also so important. It's not something that people, wake up when they're 6 years old and say, oh, I want to be a professional in philanthropy. And so it comes with a life experience and learning that skill of how to help people understand how important it is. I was really blessed to be able to share that with my team.
What's interesting, you say that, you're young, dynamic, raising money, and that sort of shifts gear a little bit with now the whole human people aspect and leadership skills and so on. And obviously setting things up for what has transpired in your life. And so pleased that you have now become the president and CEO of the MUHC Foundation. We have to head out to traffic, and now we're going to, 5 days into it, you know everything about the foundation, right? So I'm going to put you on the spot with a couple of questions. And welcome back to Life Unrehearsed. I'm Matt Del Vecchio, and I'm talking to Marie-Hélène Laramée, two-time cancer survivor, as you just heard, a new president and CEO of the MUHC Foundation. Marie-Hélène, such a really inspiring story, and you're a fighter. You could tell the passion, and now steering the ship for the MUHC Foundation. So again, congratulations. You're just a few days into it, so I promise to be gentle with not too many technical questions as you just get to understand the foundation. But I know you've been working very, very hard behind the scenes, and I'd like to, I guess, first question is. You've gone from a mechanical engineer to very much into the philanthropy world, and most recently with Centrade. And I'd be interested to hear your story and how you ended even here at the MUHC Foundation.
Yeah. So when the opportunity came and Julie Canville announced her departure, when you work in philanthropy, you're connected with a lot of people who do good in the community. And I had acquaintances who were involved at the MUHC Foundation and the MUHC. And, they heard about the opportunity and they reached out to me and they said, "You're the perfect person for it." I mean, for me, it was really the combination of my personal purpose and my career coming together. I had now acquired a lot of experience in philanthropy, a lot of experience in leadership, and to be able to bring all of that back with my personal story in this role is just really powerful.
When I saw the announcement, I was always wondering, who's going to be Julie's replacement, and I saw the announcement. I was so happy for you, and really just the ideal person for the role. So wish you a lot of success in your new career. All right, let's hear a little bit more about the foundation, because I don't think many listeners realize, I mean, this is a big machine. You're raising a lot of money for very, very good causes. Let's just start. I mean, budget-wise, what are we looking at for the foundation on an annual basis?
So the foundation raises about $30 million a year, and that money is invested in cutting-edge research and patient care, excellent patient care at the MUHC. And, if I can maybe explain a little bit more, the government funds quality care with the treatments of today. What we do with the MUHC Foundation is we're driving cutting-edge research to find cures, the cures of tomorrow. And maybe, we take cancer as an example, because it is the leading cause of death in Canada still. And, 1 in 2 Canadians will be diagnosed with cancer in their lifetime. Someone today goes to the hospital because they have symptoms, and then they, maybe do a scan. They maybe do a biopsy, and then they try to, find out what cure would be the right one. Maybe they do radiotherapy. Maybe they do chemotherapy. Maybe they do another scan afterwards to find out how it's changed. That's the quality care of today. Tomorrow, we could be doing liquid biopsy. We could be doing a blood test and figuring out that person has a cancer that hasn't even developed into a tumor yet. And maybe we're able to find, where it is, its full DNA, how far it's grown, what would help cure it, etc. And so that's exciting, and that's actually being used right now in head and neck already at the MUHC.
It is very exciting. And as a Montrealer, I think I speak on behalf of many listeners that it's exciting. $30 million budget, but this money is going not necessarily for today's care, like you're saying, but for future care. And we really do need that. We've had Dr. Lucy Gilbert doing the Dovey project in her fight against ovarian cancer, and just doing phenomenal work. And there's a real good example of money's going in the right direction. You've sort of meeting with people. Is there any particular research projects that stand out in your mind, just at the outset, that is exciting for our listeners to know about?
Well, I mean, I think I just gave you the example of liquid biopsy. To me, that could change the lives of so many people.
What is that?
So the idea is to be able, through a blood test, saliva or urine, to be able to detect ctDNA, which is the circulating tumor that would be in someone's blood very, very early on. And so what if we could do a routine test that would diagnose that and be able to help and change the lives of so many people before cancer even develops? And imagine the saving also for the hospital and the healthcare system if we could do it that way.
You've only been there 4 or 5 days, Marie-Hélène. You're talking like you've been there a few years.
I'm really passionate. I have a lot more examples for you. But you know what? The truth is, we will all need the healthcare system in our lives, all of us. And our loved ones will need the healthcare system. And we will be with them at the time. And when that happens, we will want and expect excellence. And that's really up to us. It's up to us as a community to go and finance. The MUHC is it's the #1 medical research institute in Quebec. And so it is our job as citizens to support that and to make sure that we grow that position.
Listen to Life Unrehearsed. Matt Del Vecchio here with Marie-Hélène Laramée, 2-time cancer survivor, as you've heard, and the new president and CEO of the MUHC Foundation. Just started earlier in the week, and obviously you're right in the fire already. You've talked about a couple interesting research projects. If we have time, I'd like to talk a little bit more, but I do want to get your opinion on, there's some opportunities ahead, but there's also going to be some challenges that you're going to be facing. Have you given some thought? What are some of those challenges that you will be facing?
Well, I think we need to continue to educate and advocate for the importance of philanthropy. The MUHC is a relatively young organization in the healthcare system. It was founded in 1997. And if you think of one of the founding hospitals, the Royal Victoria was founded in 1893, I think. So, it's really a young organization, and people like you who actually get the word out and invite us to come and talk about the importance of that. I think that's really important for people to understand here what they have access to in Montreal and the importance of them getting involved and supporting it.
Well, I'm glad you really put that in perspective. 1997, that is very, very young, and having still on an annual basis to raise significant dollars for research. And I guess I'd like to say on the personal side for you, we were talking a little bit off air, and there's a lot of people wanting to get your attention, that want to talk to you, many different departments. You obviously have to wear the donor and donation hat, very often attending many events, attending media interviews like this. So, you obviously have the passion and the dynamism. And how are you personally for this? Are you up for the task? And there's going to be a lot of people pulling and poking and prodding at you.
My first week, the word I have for it is exhilarating. The idea of sitting in a cafeteria and being with patients, being with the doctors, being with the clinical scientists, being with the foundation staff, such passionate people. Every single moment matters in that environment. And when you go and you get your coffee, you're helping somebody who's looking for the elevators, and these are patients who are maybe having the worst day of their lives. And just being able to be in the middle of all of that energy, it just gives so much purpose to every single day.
Making a difference. And you were also mentioning the team at the foundation was just a bunch of rock stars. Right?
It's a bunch of rock stars. You said it well. The amount of passion in that team, and they're so focused. They all have the same thing to heart, and they really want Quebecers to have access to the absolute best healthcare, and it drives us every single day. It's just, I'm very thankful on Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah, very apropos. Talking with Marie-Hélène Laramée, president and CEO of the MUHC Foundation, just starting in her position. There are a ton of events, fundraisers, lots of good events. Anyone upcoming that you might want to get a shout out for?
Yeah, we have the MUHC's Got Talent coming up. My God, I want to say November 7, and I don't even have the date in front of me. Maybe we can confirm that.
In fact, it is November 7th. I had it in my notes too at the MTELUS, right?
Amazing.
Date.
So we're actually bringing the employees of the MUHC on stage, and so there's clinical researchers. My executive assistant is going to be singing, and so you can actually go on our website and vote for them and make a donation. These people are making a huge effort, and they're going, and taking themselves outside of their comfort zone and going on stage. So you can buy tickets, you can vote, you can become a sponsor of the event. We're really looking forward to it. Super exciting.
I think it was inaugural year last year, which is a huge success and a big moneymaker and fundraiser for you.
And we discovered a lot of talent.
Yeah, that's true. Again, all internally. Well, you know what? We're out of time here, Marie-Hélène. I really do want to thank you for coming in on a Sunday and spreading the word about the foundation. Foundation and want to wish you lots of success. If people do want to find out more about the foundation or even make a donation, guess website the best place to go?
The website is the best place to go. And if you're ever in the area, please come by. We are very warm and welcoming, and we'll be happy to show you around.
And the website's MUHCFoundation.com. All right. Thank you very much, Marie-Hélène.
Thank you, Matt.
All right. That's Marie-Hélène Laramée, the new president and CEO of the MUHC Foundation. Next up on Life Unrehearsed, as we age, we should really be looking at our legal documents. Are you protecting yourselves and your loved ones? Well, when was the last time you updated your will? Or do you even have a will? Around 50% of Canadians don't even have a will. And what about powers of attorney, protection mandates? It could all get so confusing. Well, we're going to get some answers when I talk with the leading Montreal notary. That's coming up after the CTV News Update.